Hi, I'm Amy, going over the energies of the solstice today, December 21st, 2020. Also the Jupiter-Saturn conjunction in Aquarius that occurs today. So let's get started with it. The first couple notes I wrote is the world, Saturn, and the wheel, Jupiter, are conjuncting in the sign of the star, which is Aquarius. So using the Tarot Mucha, which I've used before, lovely cards. I'll start with the world, symbolic of or associated with Saturn. So there we go, get an image of that. The world, each of us comes into the incarnation naked and pure, the essence of our unsullied soul ready for the next adventure in our evolutionary cycle. The oval wreath delineates a portal in time and space, the great cosmic egg from which the world itself was born. The angel, eagle, lion, and bull are the four fixed astrological signs: Aquarius, the element of air; Scorpio, the element of water; Leo, the element of fire; and Taurus, the element of earth. When all of the elements are in perfect and harmonious agreement, a cycle is finished and the new cycle begins. You are at such a time now. What has been undertaken is complete. It may or may not have concluded in the way you wanted, but it is done. Drop the final veil and step through into the new life that awaits you. Key ideas for the world card: completion, perfection of the whole, the balance of the elements, a triumphant emergence from limbo. So that is the symbolic association with Saturn, and then with Jupiter, and I know we did this a couple of weeks ago, the wheel image. So for the wheel, I'll just go over that again. The wheel, with no beginning and no end. The wheel symbolizes the eternal cycles of change. The stages of life, the seasons of the year, the phases of the moon. Everything in our human experience is in a constant state of change. The windmill in the distance is a reminder that all of these changes are grist for the mill. What may seem like a loss now can turn to an unexpected advantage in time. Sorrowful events bring with them the gifts of wisdom and depth of character. But change must be acknowledged in the happy times as well. No joy lasts forever. The sands of the hourglass mark the precious moments as they pass. The message of the wheel is to find your place in the circle of life, as well as in the timeless experience of eternity. Key ideas: time, eternity, the temporal world, the inevitability of change, fortune, and luck. And Jupiter-Saturn conjunct in the sign of Aquarius, which is the sign of the star. And that is, get that back up again. There are nights so diamond clear that it seems as if the stars are close enough to reach out and touch. Capture starlight in your hands and see your own brilliance shimmering there. Let doubt fall away, all the petty cares of the earthly path. The star tells a story of eternity that reaches far beyond any one lifetime. All is well, and all will be well. Believe in the rightness of your place in the universe. Your psyche has a unique destiny to fulfill, foretold in the stars. Searching for this destiny is your quest. The quest of each person who takes mortal form. The star that guides each of us shines a light of hope, faith, and infinite trust. This is the great truth. Whatever you truly need will always be given. Every part of your being is made of stardust, and you can never be separated from the cosmic dance of creation. Key ideas, purity, hope, destiny, the pattern of the cosmos, divine intention, and faith. So yes, I'm kind of starting off, even though we already had the solstice earlier today, I'm starting off with the Saturn and Jupiter conjunction in Aquarius, okay? This is the closest Jupiter and Saturn conjunction since 1623, and it's the closest observable since 1226, and that was the last time of the air element period. So for a period of about 200 years, Jupiter and Saturn conjunct in an element. So there'll be 10 conjunctions of 20 years, and that's considered a period of time. And then as it changes from sign to element to element, it's considered the Great Mutation. So we did have a conjunction of Jupiter and Saturn in an air sign in Libra, and that was December 31st, 1980 at 9 degrees Libra. So it was kind of a preview, and that usually happens with each of these periods. You kind of dip into the element a little bit, and then we had another Earth element May 28th in the year 2000, and that was the last Earth Jupiter-Saturn conjunction of that period of time, that cycle of 200 years. So every time Jupiter and Saturn meet up, it's almost, I remember one of my teachers talking about like the hand of God, the hand of time coming down and kind of touching the law of humanity. So kind of Saturn meeting up with Jupiter, which moves more quickly, and then informing, the next 20 years as far as cycles and the new spirit, new cycle that's beginning. A new law of the land. So we are beginning another cycle. I like to mention the 1980 cycle because if you think back in your own life, if you're old enough, in 1980, what was happening, and then from 1980 to 2000, of course, we saw the boom in the communications, technology, computer, online transactions, social media platforms. So much happened during that period to kind of give you a little taste of what's to come now for the next 200 years, which of course, I always think of the Bob Dylan song, or the lyric, you don't need a weatherman to know which way the wind blows. We can see these cycles are happening, but this is almost like the official start now. We're in it for the next couple hundred years. With air, a lot of movement. Tendency, negatively would be ungroundedness. So there's going to be a lot of movement, a lot of emphasis on theory, on imagination, innovation, creativity, more emphasis on thought, like I said, and theory than the practical matters of Earth. Okay. Social justice. Aquarius is a very egalitarian sign. Social change. Revolutionary energy is in the air. In the 1226, beginning of that air period, brought the signing of the Magna Carta, which was the new rule of law. It brought more power to the people. Along with that, there was a great inroads to China, the Silk Road, negatively, the Inquisition, and the beginning of the Renaissance. So this is just the beginning of this period. We'll open up to see all of the things that'll come into being in the next couple hundred years. But this is definitely the end of one period of time and the beginning of another. So the shadow air again is, so theories and thoughts are important, but what is there to believe in? What is true? What is false? That kind of harkens back to the Inquisition energy. We'll have to learn to meet and connect in ways that build greater connectivity instead of supporting a greater divide. So our beliefs, which have been up in the air, so to speak, for a while now, will be more emphasized, and as we connect, probably more digitally, but at the same time finding a way to find truth in that. There'll probably be a lot of work in the next couple hundred years about what's true and what's false. Are you seeing me? Are you seeing some CGI version of me, right? The Mercury retrograde elemental cycle switches to air as well in January of 2021, and it'll be there until January 2023. The first maximum elongation as evening star of Mercury, which begins that elemental cycle, will be at 23 degrees Aquarius, which sextiles the solar eclipse new moon we just had in Sagittarius at 23 degrees. So Saturn rules Capricorn, which the sun just moved into today, which is the solstice, which is like the new moon of the year as far as astrology goes. And Saturn traditionally ruled Aquarius, so its rulership of the base chakra, both where it's going into energetically, this new Aquarius cycle and air cycle, and then the sun's ingress into Capricorn. And so with Capricorn, I think more of matter and Aquarius energy or spirit. The tarot card for Capricorn is the Devil. Okay, I will find the Devil here. So again, we're thinking of the Devil as materiality. So we can take the religious connotation away from it and think of it as a material energy. The Devil assumes a pleasing shape to beguile the vulnerable, to give in to her temptations. She entices the weak to chase temporal goals of wealth, lust, domination, and her crooning, dulcet words assure her victims that more lofty pursuits are foolish. Why strive for goodness and kindness in a world that rewards neither? The immediate pleasures are all that matter. The beauty of the Devil beckons and enchants, but look closer. She wears the ram's horns that ruthlessly batter, the peacock fan of empty pride, the bat wings of the darkest netherworlds. Consider carefully the things that tempt you. Tear yourself free of addictions, manipulation, and emotional bondage. Follow only those passions that lead toward the light. Key ideas: the allure of darkness, addiction, cynicism, separation from spirit, and facing your demons. So we're finding a way, moving from more matter into energy, and finding a way to trust and meet in that future. So I keep coming back to the heart and vibration. As we already know, people can say the right words or write the right words, or media can inundate you with the right messages. When I say right, by the ones we want to hear, or we think we want to hear. Ads, music, movies, television, etc. But have you ever noticed how the vibration of the words don't match the energy, or the vibration and the energy of the words don't match the message? And this feels a little dangerous to explore. It'll be very subjective, but it's going to take this skillfulness in discernment and alignment in aligning your heart with your own word and using that as a way to discern what is real and what is not. So I hope that makes sense. Anyway, I've kind of got all these thoughts. We'll let that one just kind of sit for a bit. I was reading up on Ray Merriman's site about the Jupiter-Saturn conjunction, and a couple of things from that, which was amazing anyway. He, of course, is amazing. But the Jupiter-Saturn conjunction in the year 2000 squared Uranus in Aquarius, and Uranus is the ruler of Aquarius. It was a waxing square, so it was growing, and so the conjunction was in Taurus, Jupiter-Saturn, and Taurus, of course, is a sign. It can be a money sign, right? And the sign Aquarius and Uranus are tech and computers. He wrote the world. It was a worldwide bear market, followed by the burst of the dot-com bubble. We have just a similar arrangement, and I by no means claim to be any type of a financial astrologer. I'm just going to mention this because I thought this was interesting. Saturn conjunction today in Aquarius squares Uranus now in Taurus. So we've kind of switched those signs, and it's a waning square. So we've coming to the end of the energy or resolution or integration, but it's still a square, so there's still conflict. So what have we learned as far as our money markets, financial? Could there be another upset coming with that placement? So there could be some financial stability issues or instability, equity markets, or the technology sector will be highlighted. Anyway, that was about all I had to say with that. One other thing, this period of unrest that we're entering into, anytime we're talking about Aquarius, we're talking about shaking things up. Okay, Aquarius and Capricorn, like I said, are in the base chakra, the co-rulers of the base chakra. So we're talking about root issues are at play, and handling them or working with them differently. I am thinking, everyone has a different opinion about this, but the age of Aquarius, by some records, could have started back when the Wright brothers first took flight, when they first, left Earth and entered into the air. And then some other people have it be farther out than that. But to me, with this 200-year cycle of Jupiter and Saturn now firmly into the air element, to me it does feel more Aquarian in nature. And I'll just mention a little bit from Robert Zoller's work. The article is The Use of Archetypes in Prediction, and I have the abridged abridged edition from 2002, and just talking about moving from the Piscean age to the Aquarian age. And this could get really heavy really fast, so I'm gonna see if I can kind of touch upon a couple of the points without getting too deeply into it, but hopefully still making sense. So we'll see, hold on. Okay, so during the Piscean age, the benefic Jupiter ruled the angles. Jupiter ruled both Pisces on the 1st and Sagittarius on the 10th at the midheaven. And thus, while there was confusion of hierarchical religious institutions and political institutions, and while this inevitably led to hypocrisy, the age was nonetheless one in which truth and philosophy mattered to men. The Piscean age will, as this Aquarian age unfolds, be seen as a halcyon period of semi-respite from the essentially malefic and spiritually destructive nature of life. So as I'm talking about this, and as we talk about me and Robert Zoller here, as I read from this article and we talk it kind of leans a little more to the shadow Aquarian. I'll either interject or talk about it afterwards as to the other response that we might have, okay? So, in the Aquarian age, the malefics once again rule the angles, and with them returns the natural severity of worldly life. Where once the religions of the age sought to embody the city of God in earthly hierarchies, the new order will seek to perfect the Machiavellian political philosophy that 'tis better to be feared than loved if one cannot be both. The new order of the ages will rule through the power of life and death, Scorpio, which is on the 10th, so it's at the top of the chart then, the midheaven with Aquarius on the ascendant, ruling through the power of life and death, which is Scorpio, through behavior modification, cloning, genetic engineering, mind control, and the occult. Might makes right in this new age. If the preceding age produced metaphysical materialists who duped the people through the opiate of religion, the new age will produce materialist metaphysicians who will make the preceding political power elites look like inept apprentices. In the age of Aquarius, religion will be humanistic love of fairness and justice. While feeding the people with Libran platitudes, the Scorpionic rulers will work tirelessly toward the realization of their goal, absolute power over others, as Leo is seen in position on the 7th house. The will of the people will be towards freedom of expression, Aquarius, and they will be encouraged to do their own thing so that they keep their minds off what their rulers do. Scorpio rules through oligarchic power elites who manage to be seen in the light they wish to be seen in. This means catering to the utopian hopes of the people, offering them the collective doctrines such as socialism, extreme brands of Fabian communism, and new versions of communism have merged with technocratic scientific socialism to produce a new strain of socio-political reality in which it is often impossible to discern left from right. These changes have been apparent since the 1990s and will continue. He talks a bit about the family and some secret societies. Aquarian age will not, while not a dualistic age, will nevertheless be intrinsically one in which the battle between spirit and matter will go on as never before. The opportunities for perfection, Saturn as ruler of the 1st and as exalted in the 9th, will be greater than ever, and the obstacles due to the doubt inherent in the air signs, Aquarius, for instance, and in the libertinism of the age will also be greater than ever. Social interaction will be philosophic, Sagittarius on the cusp of the 11th. Groups of friends discussing and studying philosophical subjects should be a common enough occurrence that occasionally one will find some who seriously approach the teaching. Knowledge, money. Okay, as the Aquarian dream of humanistic science and universal brotherhood is a vision of the world to come in Pisces and realized in Aquarius, so too the Aquarian avant-garde will look forward to an Aquarian golden age on the one hand, while the Aquarian technocrats will look for a world corporation to fossilize society into a rigid caste system run technologically. Elements are already working for this, but while it may be realized to some degree in Aquarius, the age being essentially rebellious will deny it and present innumerable obstacles to its completion until the age of Capricorn, which we don't have to worry about right now. That'll be another, 2000 plus and change. So the danger in Aquarius is the abuse of knowledge and science, not of industry and trade, which would have been the previous age. I'm going to stop there. So that's a lot of shadow Aquarius, and I hesitated to include it, but at the same time, I think it's not like it's anything nobody doesn't know. And again, even going back to everything that we're exposed to, television, movie, music, everything, right? Everything has a message. Everybody they roll out to talk to us is a trusted friend who is going to tell you, you know, the truth, right? So just being mindful of what's being fed to you, okay? And getting fed information as I'm giving you information. So, right? Why trust? Anyway, don't trust me. Don't trust anybody. Trust yourself. I am just here sharing what I'm doing. So with that, just one more little thing about Aquarius before I flip to some other things. So Aquarius, Uranus, Uranus ruling Aquarius, the energy of the Fool is present. And most tarot decks, as this one does too, has Aquarius or the Fool as being 0. I love when it is the 22nd tarot. But I will read it as the Fool, and then I'll read another source. So I'm kind of coming full circle-ish around into non-shadow Aquarius, because I don't want to leave us on that note, because as we know, and as I believe, that we always have options. The energy is always changing, and it changes with our awareness. So even as I read some of those gloomy doomy statements, wow, that's so cute, isn't it? Okay, but seriously, you know, even as I read that, there's always a higher octave, there's always a higher option. So this is the card for Uranus. So Aquarius would be the star. The Fool. Each of us embarks upon the journey of life with a light heart and an innocent spirit. Every adventure we encounter along the path has the potential for joy. The Fool is the soul who travels the human lifetime seeking knowledge, understanding, and beauty. The carnation she holds symbolizes the incarnation of her spirit in mortal flesh. She has no expectations, only the willingness to live fully in the flow of life's experiences. Her worldly possessions are simple and few, carried in the small pilgrim's bag upon her shoulder. Her companion dog guides her away from the cliff's edge, for he is the part of the consciousness that instinctively protects us from harm. Heeding your instinct's guidance and the call of your spirit toward its purpose, you are always exactly where you are meant to be. Key ideas: beginnings, openness, optimism, trust, innocence, the perfect soul. So when things have been a little darker this year, or at any time, I do remind myself and I remind my clients and people I know that, hey, we chose to be here at this time. We didn't choose to be here 200 years ago. Maybe we'll choose to be here 200 years from now. But we're here now for a reason. And I think the Fool has with it that energy of beginner's mind. In the Fool's Pilgrimage, Kabbalistic Meditations on the Tarot by Stephan Hoeller, or Hoeller, I should really find out. He has the Fool as being one of the last step in the Kabbalistic path. And I like that, and in other tarot books I've read too, where the Fool, having done all, achieved everything, gone through the whole experience of coming into the world, and then comes to the edge of the world, and the Fool could leave, right? We could stay back up in the astral. Everything is cool up there, right? But we choose consciously to come back and to stay. Maybe we don't always choose. Maybe we're drawn back because of our attachments, because of the devil, right? Our attachments, our addictions, which we all have, right? And I love the solstice energy. This is one of my favorite days of the year. It's really the new year, as I said. It's the time Hanukkah, taking the everything off the altars and changing the altar dressings, lighting lights, the sun being on hold for a few days, the days of darkness coming to a close and beginning to grow again. So the Fool energy, just the keynote from this book, The Fool's Pilgrimage, for this last path of the Kabbalistic tree with the Fool. The pure essence of the soul takes the last step, completing the conscious linking of all aspects of the supernal states of divinity. It having become one with all, its future is the future of a being whose growth and splendor have no limit. The motto from Abu Yazid el-Bistami: I went from God to God until they cried from me, in me, O thou I. Isn't that lovely? Isn't that a nice flip? So we see we can go shadow, and that's definitely a possibility. And we may see many people choosing shadow expression. But we can also choose light. We can always choose energy. We can always choose transformation. We can always choose connection. We can always choose unity, which is also a very Aquarian thing. The shadow being unity, being my definition of unity, my version of unity, or whomever, right? That's the problem. But collectively, and also the collective, the energy of the collective, that can be a wild card too, right? We can see a lot of shame and blame, inquisition, all of that energy. But again, let's find, especially in these days, solstice, beginning of the year, Jupiter-Saturn conjunction, beginning of this cycle. Wow, how conscious can we make this, right? How conscious can we make this, right, in our own selves? And when I take it back to that, like, yeah, I shouldn't say I can't solve the problems of the world, right? But each of us can solve our own problems of our own world, which collectively will help. All right, the Sabian symbol for 1 degree Aquarius from Lynda Hill's book, and is an old Adobe mission in California. It's a symbol of man's ability to take natural materials from the environment to build something lasting and enduring that protects, sustains, and nourishes the community on every level. The old Adobe Missions were built in the early days of California in an attempt to bring civilization to this wild area. Although these missions hold a certain romance and history, people have polarized perspectives of their actual significance. There's the romantic colonial version of altruistic Spanish missionaries and soldiers laboring to bring religion and European culture to the backward, quote-unquote, backward native people. And then there's the version of white intruders subjugating and persecuting the Native Americans, indoctrinating them with religion, killing them off with strange new diseases, and obliterating their culture. Somewhere in the middle, the truth can most likely be found. Sometimes the oracle for this is sometimes it's easy to assume that one's beliefs are right and that others need to be shown the truth or a better way to live their life. Efforts sometimes need to be turned toward creating this infrastructure to pursue our beliefs and way of life, and this can enrich everyone's lives. There is a need for the provision of faith, love, and shelter to those who require it. However, the effort may be too big for some and may leave them feeling homeless or homesick or without a cause. It may be a case of someone trying to change or dominate the core beliefs of someone else, causing emotional restriction and pain. The truth to be remembered is that contributing to others' lives and caring about people in a community is not about control, but acceptance of and reverence for each person's divinity. There is no need for strict conformity, manipulation, or pretension here. So, I thought that was lovely. The conjunction takes place in sidereal space of 6 degrees Capricorn, so we don't even need to go down that all of that road. But just we'll talk about the nakshatra. Change my position for my knees. The nakshatra is Uttarashadha, the latter invincible one, the latter unconquered, or final victory. The bird is the stork, the stone is the ruby, the animal associated with this is the male mongoose. The deities are the 10 Vishvadevas, the son of Lord Dharma, which represent noble aspirations and an optimistic outlook on life. The Uttarashadha is a star of deep integrity and concern for humanity. The seed bija sound is ja. The key word is collaboration. The ragam associated with this position is associated in the mind-body-soul chakric system with chakra number 10. The directions, the 10 in all, goes back to the 10 Vishvadevas. It's a higher mental energy. This chakra connects to the high mental planes and rules special thought. It helps bring in all levels of wonderful information. Universal knowledge is stored there. The position is the top of the forehead. So not the crown chakra, the top of the forehead. The color is indigo, deep blue, or midnight blue. So the ruby, being the stone, also made me think of ruby red slippers, which in the original book were silver, but switched to ruby red slippers. We could go down a whole rabbit hole with all of that. But so ruby, the stone ruby, it warns its wearer of impending danger. It kept the body safe. It banishes sadness and foolish thoughts. It stimulates the base chakra. So again, solstice, Capricorn, base chakra. Jupiter, Saturn, and Aquarius, base chakra. Ruby stone. It increases vitality and chi. It clears the mind, increases concentration and motivation. It stirs the blood and stimulates the heart. It encourages one to enjoy being in this physical world. And I've probably mentioned this before, but one of my favorite little quotes from Alice O. Hoeller, and I don't even know if it was from her or if she was quoting someone else, but in we are and on we must go. So don your ruby slippers and go forward. The male mongoose, which is the animal associated with this nakshatra, and again, the nakshatras are segments of the heavens, the Vedic system where it's divided up by a certain amount of degrees for each one. So for this nakshatra, the male mongoose is a sign of courage. It teaches how to defend oneself with pure integrity and righteousness, to experience a result that will benefit both sides. Special skill of the mongoose, or mongoose people, they can settle an issue with someone without exerting too much effort, and definitely without resulting into another conflict. So I just loved this energy. I hadn't looked up mongoose before. It's the energy of loving what we do and continue to find joy in doing it. Mongoose energy helps us clear out our life of clutter and mess and rid ourselves of things which distract our peaceful life. Distractions can interfere with our efficiency. Thoughts, worries distract and interfere, so the mongoose helps us let them pass. Mongoose can teach you to avoid those people who will not cause you any good, those people who are full of negativity or can poison your personality or suck all the good vibes out of your life and replace it with their misery. So I thought that was interesting. So you get your ruby, call on your mongoose, you got something going. Let's see what else I wrote about Mongoose. Revitalizes passion, and then renewal in pursuing dreams, which I would say ties into the really liking what you do. It helps you analyze people's behaviors. It helps you endure difficulties and challenges. And it just helps you to learn to avoid people who are not good for you. When I say negative people, I'm not just saying, you know, whatever. It's just maybe there's a way you can skillfully have them in your life. All right, I'm going to go into the plant associated with this nakshatra is the jackfruit. It's the tree, actually. Breadfruit, palasa, or jackfruit. So it's a breadfruit is a super rich, nutritionally rich vegetable. It helps with couple relationships. The jackfruit offers strength and comfort to those who are undernourished, neglected, forgotten, or abandoned. It helps mend karmic cycles of abandonment and guilt. So I thought that was really a nice supportive thought too. I know I ordered a jackfruit flower essence from deltagardens.com. I haven't gotten it yet, so maybe today in the mail. Because I just like to have the energy, whether it's an essential oil or a flower essence or the stone, you know, or the mongoose, whatever animal energy there might be. To me, it's just a little reminder of balancing the energy. The bird associated with this nakshatra is a stork, which is symbolic of new life and rebirth. It links life to the symbolism of the child. And I think of the child, I think of the fool, this beautiful, innocent, but yet wise being entering into this world. The stork is a bird with no means of vocal communication. And I hadn't thought about that before. It uses dances and body gestures and bill clapping. So I think about movement and I think about rhythm at this time. And that's all I have to say about that. Just popped into my head. Well, when you welcome the stork into your life, your higher spirit will communicate more with symbols. And of course, every experience is symbolic. Dreams will carry more meaning and your visions will be more vivid. Storks like to live close to human homes. You might find them atop chimneys in places where their storks are. The narrative of the stork is rebirth. It spends most of the time in water where it searches for food. Before it gets food, it wades in the mud. So don't worry, I guess, if you're wading in the mud right now, you'll find some food. Stork will accompany you as you struggle to meet your needs, mucking around in that mud. And you will get what you need or looking for. Struggles are part of your spiritual nourishment. Stork signifies protection, the home and the children. It signifies and symbolizes a mother's love. All right. So that's all Jupiter-Saturn conjunction-ish and a little bit of the solstice. And so I'll just touch on the solstice energy, and I will read another Sabian symbol from Lynda Hill for this, 1 degree Capricorn. A Native American chief claims recognition and power from the assembled tribe. It shows someone in a position of authority, standing strong, staking their claim and place amongst the people that they lead or represent. It's a symbol associated with the Jesus story. Jesus's karmic lesson was to rise above the crowd, to claim power in situations, places, and with people, and to accept any consequences that such a claim could lead to. So the oracle for this is, there are leadership issues here. Sometimes we need to rise to the occasion and take charge. And this is most likely one of those times. This can lead to a struggle for control. You may be challenged to remind those around you of your leadership qualities and your abilities to be strong, reliable, and accountable. There's the need to stand up in front of others and be counted as someone who has what it takes. As long as nobody is lording it over others, life can operate in a smoother manner. with everyone understanding their place in the scheme of things. We all have to find the courage to stand up and exhibit a show of strength now and then. However, there can be the flip side. Are those above you reminding you of the lesser position you occupy in the scheme of things? You can find your own internal authority by believing in yourself, by claiming recognition and power, and acknowledging your nobility and courage. There can be challenging events happening in the external world, a battle of will, perhaps, but if you stand strong and firm in your inner belief in yourself, you can come out victorious with a greater sense of authority radiating out to those around you. People will take you more seriously. Always know when to listen to and give way to the rights of others, and you'll be given a stronger position in society. All right, so Capricorn is a lot about that, a lot about leadership, a lot about standing strong. Again, a lot about that base chakra, Capricorn, Saturn energy. And we'll talk more about that in the full moon and the new moon videos, because this one already is getting a bit long. But Saturn, Capricorn always make me think of the English teacher that always made you cross your T's and dot your I's. It's about achieving something in the world. And that's kind of where that devil imagery can come in. There's like a can be then an attachment to power or position. Like a Capricorn thing that popped into my head was like, Capricorn, there's a penthouse out there with my name on it, or Capricorn, there's a corner office out there with my name on it. And you might not always see that with Capricorn initially, but there's always, they're hard workers, but there's some kind of, there can be a status associated, positioning. And again, that's kind of shadow. I don't want to even get into all of that right now, because wonderful perseverance, discipline, determination, all of the hard work that goes along with Saturn. It might take me 50 years to do this, but I'm going to do it. You'll see that quality with Capricorn. So I'll just stay with that for now. The nakshatra, the area of the heavens that the sun moved into, is Mula, which is root, right? It's the foundation star. So Capricorn, Saturn, all about foundation. Saturn rules the bones in the body. It rules the skin. It rules hearing, along with Mercury. So it rules the little bones in the ear. So stability, rootedness, foundation, all Saturn, okay, all Capricorn. So Mula is considered the foundation star. It's the power to transform from the root, destroying illusion to go beyond it. The ragam associated with this is in the Brahma chakra, in mind, body, spirit chakric system. It's a mythological reference to the 9 cycles of the universe, each presided over by one Brahma. It's been a little long video, hasn't it? So the brow, or the third eye chakra, is said to be directly connected to the medulla, which is in the back of the head, the moon chakra. So in usual, the yogic system, it's the ajna and the chandra, the sun and the moon chakra. But in mind, body, soul chakra, the brow, or the third eye chakra, is considered the Brahma chakra. In the back of the head, the medulla, and the pineal gland in the center of the skull, the area through which the psychic energy enters our bodies. The color is purple, like a black light. The stone is amethyst. Amethyst stimulates and soothes the mind and emotions, but it has the energy of fire and passion and creativity and spirituality, but also temperance, sobriety. It was always amethyst, I really consider more with Pisces and Aquarius. It's from the Greek word amethystos, which means not intoxicated. So it's good for being grounded in all areas and in spiritual thought. The Mula nakshatra, the root, is the tail of the scorpion in the heavens. It includes the 9 stars located at the left of our galaxy. Inquisitive mind that enables them to get to the left, or the root of things. Roots and herbs in medicine. So literally root-related things. This supports research, getting to the root of a matter, investigation, and exploration. The ruling deity is the goddess Niriti, and it is the energy of loss and destruction. It's a destructive force used for surrender and transformation. The animal that is associated with it is a dog. The bird is a red vulture. The bija, or seed sound, is yo. Keyword is creativity. The shakti, or power, of this part of the heavens is to ruin or destroy. But again, this is in the energy of transformation. And the lucky stone for this is cat's eye. So just, I'll hit these few things and then we'll close this video up. Dog is the energy of love and protection and loyalty and playfulness and perseverance. So be loyal and truthful to yourself. Be your own best friend. Be gentle with those around you. That's something I've been thinking about a lot lately, being gentle and with our thoughts and with our words, and how easy it is, again, with so many messages and so much information and communication kind of assaulting us. I've just really started thinking about gentleness in voice and gentleness in communication, and then being honest with myself about how I am communicating gently, hopefully, and non-violently with myself and with others. So that's probably going to be my work now from this moment on, because it feels really right. Anyway, being loyal and truthful and gentle with yourself, that dog energy. Red vulture, I'm going to just go into there because I kind of went off on a little tangent now, didn't I? The bird for this nakshatra is vulture, part of the raptor family, meat eater, true scavenger, bald head to prevent bacteria from spreading. To protect from predators, the vulture vomits, makes their stomach light, and means they can fly away faster. They urinate on their legs to rid them of bacteria after eating, so they're really such a great cleansing bird. So thinking about what you can do to cleanse your energy field and yourself. Vulture indicates a strong positive energy because of all that protection that it can produce from itself, right? Vulture symbolizes to be patient and think things through. Choose paths which support your higher consciousness and your heart. Use all of your resources and combine them with your experiences of the past. Always free to choose your path. And be flexible while moving forward. Use all of your senses to navigate through this situation. And recognizing that you may be fiercely protective, but must allow others to sink or swim. Recognize the need for higher awareness in all those around you, and use your energy powerfully and efficiently. And I believe the last almost last little bit. Cat's eye stone for this solstice energy. I'm going to clarify that. Dog, vulture, cat's eye for solstice energy. Cat's eye, return of lost wealth, capacity to restart a closed business. So thinking back to reclaiming the joy with the mongoose of what you do, the cat's eye stone can help you restart your closed business. Good luck for gamblers or risk takers or adventurers. It also offers psychic protection and wards off the evil eye. It eases the pain of life's tough lessons, helps us detach from unhealthy materialistic or worldly attachments. It helps spiritual advancement for the seeker. Cat's eye rebuilds the body that has been damaged by abuse of any kind or any serious illness such as cancer. It relieves mental anxiety caused by inexpression of desires, and it dissolves stress. I just want to say when I say that, oh, cat's eye can cure cancer, obviously I'm just saying it's a strengthening stone. It helps the body renew itself. I cannot make that claim on any level besides just an energetic one, okay? Cat's eye brings greater awareness and it restores memory. Again, medical caveat there. It releases unnamed fears and complexes. So the goddess Niriti is a destructive goddess of darkness, kind of related to Kali in the Hindu system. She's associated with pain, misfortune, and death, and has a demonic energy. Is a remover of misfortune. So one of those quote-unquote dark energies that really, let's reframe that as being a remover, a transformer, a transmuter, okay? I have to share this though. So she's a remover of misfortune, and she came into being by being quote-unquote plunked out of Brahma's anus. Okay, I'm sorry, that's super, just the phrasing of that, I had to include it. However, according to the Agni Purana, the spirit of the doer of bad deeds leaves the body through the anus, which is the root, right? And being in the hospital, the last, not me personally, but visiting people in the hospital recently, we all know how important digestion is, right, to the well-being of the whole system. It's a signifier of health or unhealth. Of course, Ayurveda places a huge emphasis on digestion and how the body is moving and discharging and getting rid of waste. So all of that says to me, you know, being aware of what we are ridding ourselves on every level, physical, mental, emotional, energetic, okay? The animals associated with the ruler, the deity of this nakshatra, were the pigeon, the owl, and the hare. And I just pulled out owl. Owl has to do with intuition, ability to see what others do not. The owl announces change. The owl has the capacity to see beyond deceit and masks. The owl is a symbol of wisdom. The owl is the announcer of death, but most likely a symbolic, like a life transition or a change. So that is the super long video for today. I hope it made sense. I hope you can weave together the symbolism to make it relevant for yourself. Maybe there's just one piece of something in there that's helpful. I again want to encourage you to be the weaver, to be the dreamer, to be the one who's pulling threads from my information and everyone else's information, and then from that tapestry seeing how it relates or vibrates when you hold it up against your heart, when you bring it into your higher mind, when you integrate your past experiences, when you rid yourself of all that you no longer need. You are the alchemist. You are the dreamer of dreams. And with that, I would like to say thank you so much for joining me. Have a wonderful solstice, beginning of the new year, and a new cycle of Jupiter-Saturn. And happy beginnings.